In this sketchbook assignment, I will need a couple different supplies as I get started. First thing I'm going to need is a white sheet of paper. It can be loose or it can be in my sketchbook. I will need a pencil of some sort. It can be an ebony or a drawing pencil. I will also need a ruler, not just a straight edge, but a ruler that has some sort of numbers on it, inches preferably. I'm also at some point going to need a mirror, which I can use to draw a portion of my own face. To begin this sketchbook activity, I'm going to make a series of measurements. The first measurement that I'm going to make is a border at the top, and then I'm going to make a measurement at the bottom. I'm going to take my ruler using inches and put the ruler at the edge of my paper, putting a mark at 1, sliding it over and putting another mark at 1. I will then draw and connect that line like so. I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. I'm going to pick up my ruler, put it down to the edge, put a mark at 1, slide it over, put a mark at 1 again. I'm going to connect those two. To do that, I now have an inch border at the top and a 1 inch border at the bottom. Next thing I'm going to do is do borders at the side, the left and the right side. Instead of a 1 inch border, I'm now going to do a 2 inch border. Putting my ruler at the edge of my paper, putting a mark at 2, and putting another mark at 2. Connecting through those gives me one side, and I will also do that on this side. Ruler at the edge, put a mark at 2, put a mark at 2, and then I will connect these through each other to give me a side border of 2 inches on both sides. I'm going to do two other lines. I'm going to put my ruler at the edge of this line here and put a mark at 4, and then my ruler line is going to be down again, put another mark at 4, connect these two, and then I'm going to make one more line measuring from here down to 3, putting a mark at 3 there and a mark at 3 there, and connecting those two like so. A real quick guide on those measurements looks like this. The top border is 1 by 11 inches. Bottom one is 1 by 11 inches. This left one is 2 by 6.5, 2 by 6.5, 4 by 6.5, 3 by 3, and 3 by 3.5. Now that I've done that, I'm actually going to do 3 separate sketches. And these are the 3 separate sketches that I'm going to do. One is going to be a hand sketch, one is going to be an eye sketch, one is going to be a name stack sketch. I'm actually going to do the name stack, then I'm going to do the hand, and then I'll do the eye sketch last. To start this, I'm going to choose either my first or last name. I'm going to choose to do my last name in this case. That being said, I need to know how many letters I have in my name. For NewTek, it is 6 letters. So I'm going to break this box up into 6 smaller shapes. So I'm going to do block letters for this. I'm going to start with a G, like so. Easiest way to do that is by taking and just drawing a simple letter, uppercase, lowercase, that fills that box. After I do that, this outer edge is all done for me. It's just a matter of then taking that and drawing that in block letters. I'm going to do the next 5 letters doing the same thing. Now that I've done that, to make those stand out a little bit more, I'm going to shade all of the negative space, not the positive space, only the negative space. I could add color if I so choose, but for right now I'm going to do the negative space. So now I know that you know the difference between positive and negative space and how to do a little bit of grid work with initials or letters. Next thing I'm going to do is going to be the second box, which is going to be a hand sketch. I'm going to use my non-dominant hand as my modeling hand and my dominant hand as my writing hand. When I go to start this, I want to make sure that I have my non-dominant hand or modeling hand in a pretty easy pose that I can hold for 5 or 6 or maybe even 10 minutes if I need to. I'm going to start with this sketch. That being said, as I go to do so, I may or may not fit the entire hand in there if I need to. I've decided to start with doing the hand, starting the drawing on this side of the rectangle and working my way somewhat to that side. I'm only been doing a line drawing. I do not have to shade this hand as I draw it. The next thing I'm going to do is the last square, which is going to be in this space. I'll be drawing the eye. To do this, I will need the mirror that I talked about before. Set the mirror up as needed, and I'll be drawing my own eye. It's up to you which eye you choose to do. I'm choosing to do the eye that is going to be my right eye in just this box. And that is what the eye looks like once drawn. So as a refresher, the first step is, after I have my grid, to go ahead and draw in this first box, first or last name. In this case, you can see I did 4 letters, and then I shade the background showing the positive and the negative space. Second one, what I did was the hand in a sort of pose. I also drew an image kind of in the background behind that, and that allowed me to really make the hand look like it's standing out from the foreground, which is the foreground and the background are separated. And then of course the third one I did was with drawing the eye. Okay, in that case I just drew one eye, try to get that eye to fit in there. Less concerned about the eyebrow fitting in there, but trying to draw shade and value as possible to make the eye look realistic.